everyone. Welcome to the Anchor Host platform. Today I will be doing things a little different because trying to see the origin of the days of the week. Where did they come from? And that way know we can know history instead of believing people word for everything, to see if it's written in the Bible, if it's doctrinal, because a lot of the time we're listening to things that we hear people say things to us, but we don't know the origin, and we're celebrating certain things and we don't know the history behind it. And so, if everybody's doing it, like, where did it come from? So, have you ever tried to figure out, like, where does the 7 days of the week, like, what is the origin? And as we have to be curious and we have to test everything. So today we're going to be doing our due diligence to see where does the origin of the days come from. Because if you read in the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and also chapter 2, when God created everything, like if you read verse 5, it said, and God called the light days and the darkness he called night. And it would say, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And then if you go to verse 8, it said, after God made the firmament, it said, and the evening and the morning were called the second day. And then we go to verse 13, and the evening and the morning were the third day. You go to verse 19, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Then you go to verse 23, and the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And then you go to verse 31, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Thus, chapter 2, and we're going to read from verse 1 to 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, God rested his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. So if you see, based on the book of Genesis, the book of Genesis, books of genealogy, when God created everything, would see that it didn't say Sunday, Monday, or no days. All it would say after he finished his work on that day, each day was referred to as the evening and the morning. Because if, as we read earlier, when you read in verse 5, when God, the light from the darkness, it said, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And it go all the way up until verse 31, when you see the sixth day, and the evening and the morning were the sixth day. But when you get to the seventh day, it don't tell you about evening and morning, but based on the sequence of event that you see going on, it let us know that a day is made up of both evening and the morning. So the seventh day, it's basically the evening and the morning is the seventh day. And we often speaks of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or sometimes they refer to the Sunday as the first day, and then Saturday as the Sabbath. So normally when we hear the names of the days of the week, or we speak the names of gods on a little g gods on a daily basis, because the name of the days of the week, some of the names, like when you see Thursday, it's named after Thor, and Saturday named after Saturn. So we are speaking the names of these gods that people have created, and we don't even realize that we're even doing that. And if you know that in ancient Mesopotamia, like Babylon, Babylon was where, because if you remember when they capture like the children of Israel and they take them to Babylon, Babylon would look for people who are very educated, who are knowledgeable in certain things, so they can use their ability, their knowledge to like increase the Babylonian, the Mesopotamian their education thing, because most of the things that we have, like our education things, they stem from Babylon. And in ancient Mesopotamia, you see like the astrologer, and they would use like the moon, they would use like the sun and the star, and they would use that, they use it to like assign days or to know certain things. They would look to the moon or the stars to be able to do certain things, because they feel that there was some gods that were over in charge of the sun, the planets and all this stuff. And they would use that, because if you remember, like if it when it talks about Abraham, or Terah back in Joshua, I think chapter 2, it talks about that they didn't know the true God, and they were worshiping like moon gods. If you look in Egypt, where the gods, they worship all these other, they will worship, like they have like the god of fertility, they have all these different gods that they worship. And it is surprising, it is unsurprising that the days of the week were made in homage to God's belief to have ruled the lives of mortal. And if you see, many centuries after Mesopotamia, the Romans, they came along, and the Romans, upon beginning, they start to use the 7 weeks that they have adopted, and the names of the 7 weeks fit like their own gods. These were adopted by Germanic people, who also adjusted the name. So based on like the language that they speak, like in Spanish, so, you're going to have Lunos, or I forgot all the names, but Domingo and all those stuff. So based on the language they speak, then it probably don't sound like the English word is going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But based on different languages, it's going to probably have it differently. Like, oh, in Montag, like Germany, they have Montag, and they have different, they call like Monday Montag and different things, but it all have the same thing. It's just because that the languages have shifted, so then the name, just like how you see when they talk about different gods in the Bible, like the little g gods, it's the same God, it's just different regions, different countries, different places. They just change the name, but they talk about the same thing, the God of this, the God of this. But they are the same thing, it's just different name. It's like, sometimes you buy stuff and people can package it a different way. And when you package it, it's like you're doing marketing. Probably you selling it something it's not selling, but when you package it and you make the package so appealing to the eyes, that you may think it's something new, but it is nothing new. That's why it said, Solomon let us know there is nothing new under the sun. So you probably be thinking you're coming up with a new theory or a new idea, and that is not the case. The first day we're going to explore is Sunday. And Sunday, as you may be able to guess, it comes from the sun god. So the name of pagan Roman holidays, and in many folklore traditions, Sunday was believed to be a lucky day for babies to be born. And that's why, especially too, when it says Jesus rose on the first day of the week, that they use that as a lucky day, and they use it to worship the sun and the sun god sanitary. I got the name all messed up. So it become like the most famous out of all the days, because they think that Jesus, when he resurrected from the grave, he arose from the grave on the first day. And based on, and not everybody have the first day as a week of Sunday, because in Germany, their first, are a lot of European country, they will start like their first day of the week on Monday, and then their Sunday will be like their Sabbath. So when Jesus rose from the grave, they thought, because it was on, they say, the first day of the week, then people, so in Matthew 27:28, in the end of the Sabbath, it is begun to dawn towards the first day of the week. And for us, English speaking, we consider the first day of the week as Sunday. So that's why you see a lot of, they're pushing for these Sunday things for Sunday to be like a holy day and stuff, because we know every day is from God, but they're pushing that agenda because Jesus, he rose from the dead on the first day of the week according to the Bible. And Monday, it comes from the Anglo-Saxon monadic, which is moon days, so like worshiping the moon god. And this people on this day, people gave homage to the goddess of the moon. And it believed by ancient that there were 3 Mondays during the year they were considered to be unlucky. First Monday in April, second in August, and like, those are all theories. And then Tuesday is the first to be named after a Germanic god, Theo or Tywa, a god of war and the sky, and associated with the Norse god Tyr, who was a defender god in Viking mythology. And we know that a lot of the time with the Greek have a lot of mythology, and that would just be like, like how you have the artificial intelligence stuff, that's basically like the same concept. And then you have Wednesday, means Odin's day in Norse. Odin, the whole Norse equivalent to Mercury, who was the messenger to the gods and the Roman god of commerce, travel, and sign. And Thursday was Thor day, like how you have Thor in Avenger movie, named after the Norse god of thunder and lightning, and is the Old Norse equivalent to Jupiter. And then we go to Friday. Friday is associated with Freya, the wife of Odin and the Norse goddess of love, marriage, and fertility, who is equivalent to Venus, the Roman goddess of love. And then you have Saturday, which is it derives from Saturn's day, a Roman goddess associated with wealth, plenty, and time. It is the only English weekday still associated with a Roman god Saturn. And we know that in Hebrews, they call Saturday the Sabbath, meaning day of rest. And the Bible identify the 7 days, and most, when you look at the 7 days, making reference to the Sabbath. So we can go back, because if you also looked at like images, like Monday, it would name after like the moon god, Sunday the sun god. And then all of these are basically named after gods that sometimes we're not even aware. So we're celebrating this thing, and sometimes it seems it's just we don't question things, so then we don't know like the history behind things, and then we're celebrating it because we don't know the history. But it is good, as Marcus Garvey would say, like a people who don't know their history is like they're lost. So you have to that's why you see God create, that's why the Bible is written, so we can know our history, we can know our genealogy, we can know where we're coming from. Because if you have a start point, then it gives you an idea into things. But when you just come out of the blue and you don't know, then it's like you are walking in darkness because you don't know the origin of things. I hope this like probably clarified, or it gives you an explanation on things. But we have to start doing our research for ourselves, because if we're not careful, then we out there with these names, even though we're probably not worshiping like the days, or celebrating things, or doing certain things. But it's good to know the history behind everything. That's why I said to test everything. I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.